You ever just stop and think about the week? I mean, it's kind of weird, right? A day, that makes sense. The Earth spins once. A year, sure, one trip around the sun. But a week? Where does 7 days even come from? Well, the answer isn't really about astronomy. It's more about astrology, and it takes us way, way back in time.
I mean, seriously, why are there exactly 7 days in a week? It's one of those questions that feels so simple you almost don't think to ask it. But the reason we all live our lives in these 7 day chunks, well, it has nothing to do with biology or the Earth's orbit. It's actually all about what ancient civilizations saw when they looked up at the night sky. All right, so to crack this puzzle, we have to start not with the days themselves, but with the planets. And to do that, you've got to kind of forget everything you learned in science class about what a planet is. We need to see the sky just like the ancients did.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, there are 8 planets in our solar system, right? Or maybe 9 if you're still fighting for Pluto. But for the ancients, the magic number was 7. And that number, that specific number 7, is the absolute key to this whole thing.
So, what were their 7 planets? The list starts out pretty familiar. You've got Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. No surprises there. But then it gets, well, weird. The last 2 planets they counted were the Sun and the Moon. And you have to ask, why on earth would they call the Sun and the Moon planets?
The answer is totally wrapped up in the original meaning of the word itself. It's a definition that has nothing to do with, how big something is or what it's made of. It's all about how it looks like it's moving from our point of view, right here on Earth.
Okay, so the word planet actually comes from the Greek word planis, which literally means wanderer. Think about it. To the ancient sky gazers, most of the stars were just this fixed, glittering backdrop. They never moved. But against that backdrop, there were a few special lights that, well, they wandered. They moved around. And that was their super simple, super elegant definition. If a light moved against the fixed stars, it was a wanderer, a planet.
So let's look at that list again with this new definition. The sun? It definitely wanders across the sky every single day. The moon? It's in a different spot every night. And Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn? They all trace their own unique paths against that starry background. So there you have it, 7 celestial bodies that just refused to stay put. 7 wanderers.
And this is where it all clicks into place. The ancients decided to honor these 7 celestial wanderers by naming each day of the week after one of them. It's a perfect one-to-one connection. 7 wanderers in the sky equals 7 days in the week. The whole week is basically a tribute to those moving lights that they believed govern the heavens.
Okay, so let's see how this actually works in English. The cool thing is the connection is kind of hiding in plain sight for a few of the days, once you know what you're looking for. Let's start with the easy ones. First up, Sunday is, well, literally the sun's day. That's a gimme. Monday is the moon's day, or moon day if you will, and Saturday is Saturn's day. See? Easy, right? So that's 3 down, 4 to go. But this is where it gets just a little more interesting. But what about the rest of them? I mean, Tuesday doesn't sound anything like Mars. And Wednesday definitely doesn't sound like Mercury. It seems like the pattern just breaks. Well, to figure this out, we have to uncover this really fascinating mashup of cultures that happened centuries and centuries ago. So here's what happened. The 7-day week, which was named for the Roman gods associated with the planets, eventually got passed on to the Germanic and Norse peoples. But they didn't just copy and paste it. Nope. They did a little rebranding. They swapped out the Roman gods for their own gods, who were the closest equivalent. And that is what we're left with in modern English. This table right here shows exactly how the swap went down. Let's take Tuesday. In a language like Spanish, which comes from Latin, it's Martes, for Mars, the Roman god of war. So, who was the Norse god of war? A guy named Tiw. And Tuesday became Tuesday. See how that works? Okay, next up, Wednesday is Miércoles in Spanish, for Mercury, the messenger of the gods. The Norse equivalent? The big guy himself, Woden, or Odin. Woden's day became Wednesday. Thursday is maybe my favorite. It's Thor's day, which makes total sense because Thor, the god of thunder, was the perfect Norse parallel to Jupiter, the Roman god who threw lightning bolts. And finally, Friday. That comes from Frigg, the Norse goddess of love and beauty, who was their direct counterpart to the Roman goddess Venus. So when you look at an English calendar, you are literally seeing this beautiful blend of cultures. We've got a Roman astronomical system that got filtered through Norse mythology. It's an incredible direct link back to this amazing cultural exchange.
And you know what's so amazing about all this is that our 7-day week is basically a scientific fossil. It perfectly preserves this ancient pre-Copernican model of the universe, a time when we thought the Earth was the center of everything, and the sun and moon were just two of the planets circling us. Of course, our understanding has changed a lot. Back in the 1500s, Copernicus came along and correctly put the sun at the center of the solar system. And just like that, boom, the sun and moon were kicked out of the planet club, but Earth was in. So the count went from 7 down to 5, then back up to 6. And it actually stayed that way for a long time, all the way until 1781, when an astronomer named William Herschel spotted something new.
And this is just a fantastic piece of history. Herschel wanted to name his new discovery Georgium Sidus, which means George's star, after his boss, King George III. I mean, can you even imagine that? Our solar system would be Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and George? Thankfully, the rest of the world kind of pushed back, and they eventually settled on the name Uranus. But for a little while there, Planet George was a very real possibility.
So really, every single time you glance at your calendar, you're not just looking at a schedule for the week. You are looking at a map of the ancient sky. It's a 7-day tribute to the 7 wandering stars that completely captivated our ancestors, and in the process, gave us one of the most fundamental structures of our modern lives. It's just a perfect example of how deep our history really runs, often hiding in the most ordinary places. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If the days of our week are a hidden map of an ancient solar system, what other echoes of the past are hiding in plain sight all around us, just waiting to be noticed?